Better. Good morning, everyone, and warm welcome to everyone who's here on the platform. First of all, I would like to apologize for the bad throat. Very, very bad day to have that. But moving on to presentation, initially I thought that I would give a detailed view on agrochemical, but the time, 15 minutes, I don't think so I'll be able to justify this platform. So I thought, let me dwell into at least one company. How can I move? Presentation. Can someone guide me? Yeah. First of all, disclaimer, content of the presentation is only for the education purpose. Standard SEBI disclosures, and you can construe this presentation as my vested interest. Me and my employer do own this stock, so you can consider my views as biased. Moving on to the subject, let us go back some 10 months back. The whole country was singing one song, Ab ki baar 400 par. Everyone from media anchors to political analysts to even general public, everyone was talking about this. But the results were different. BJP won 240, which was much lesser than what they won in 2019 election. Something changed drastically. Let us understand what exactly happened. Before I go into that, some stats. India total voter ID is almost 96 crores. There's a table below of how many people do pay taxes. So we can see there are only 7.5 crore people who pay actual taxes. If I reduce that number from voter ID, non-taxpayer with voter ID is almost 89 crore people in India. Who are these people? Different set of data point. This is from the economic survey. 46.1% of population is involved in agriculture sector. So it is easy to say a large part of these non-taxpayer voters come from agricultural background. Okay, why didn't they vote? I did a very, very simple analysis. How many times in a budget speech did FM speak about farmers and agriculture? We can see in 2018, there was Arun Jaitley, if I'm not wrong, almost said agriculture for 21 times and for farmer for 30 times. In 2019 pre-election, this dropped significantly to 3 and 9. And it stayed that way. It more or less stayed that way till 2024. Farmers weren't getting what they were expecting from the government. And we can see that post 2024 election, it has kind of picked up. My expectations is this will become more and more significant in 2026, 27, 28, and 29. There will be freebies, doles given to these farmers, these marginal people below poverty line involved into agricultural sector. That's a hard reality of life. Revenue, expenditure, and other part of budget will take a hit, and these farmer will benefit far, far higher than what will trickle down to us, to people who pay actual taxes. Okay, that being said, how to play this farm economy doing well? These farmers having more and more money into their hands. There are certain sectors, crop protection, agrochemical, seeds, animal feed, dairy, tractor, PVC pipes and irrigation. These are the sectors, a big proportion of their freebies will go back into generating more and more revenue for them, more and more betterment of life from them. And that is why I feel these are the sectors that will largely benefit. My idea was to cover each sector and talk a bit about it, but I gave it a skip. We can discuss it. We can discuss on it in the lunch session. So, before I go into this, let me tell you something. The total telecom revenues in India is 3,30,000 crores. Whereas, pure play telecom player, that is Bharti Airtel, market cap is 9,00,000 crores. 9 lakh crores. It is almost 3x of the industry revenue size. If you look at most of the industry where it is oligopoly nature or it is significantly dominated by very few players, you will see a similar kind of trend. But let us come to agricultural sector. Agricultural sector is almost 52 lakh crore in India. What is the largest market cap in India? Largest market cap company in India? That's PI Industry with only 55,000 crores, not even 1%. It's 0.1%. So there is immense scope for these players to gain market share, to do much better. They are far ahead of their unorganized player in terms of product, R&D, marketing, and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'll pick one company of this, that is Godrej Agrovet. Let us understand what do they do. This is actually like analyzing 5 different businesses because it has 5 different businesses inside the company. The very first is animal feed. They produce soya and all those feeds that are taken, that are eaten by cattle, eaten by shrimps, fishes, or goats. People who are into poultry farming, they procure animal feed from them. Second business is palm oil. They are the largest manufacturer of palm oil in India with almost 35% market share. Third is crop protection. This division has a lot of herbicides, fertilizers and all. Basically for farmers to buy and put it into agricultural land so that they have better output or better yield from their land. Fourth division is dairy. They acquired a majority stake in Creamline Dairy and currently they are selling their brands under the name of Godrej Jersey. This is predominantly a South player, but recently in Maharashtra they have started selling it in Blinkit. These are all milk, value-added product like cheese and all those. The last division of this company is poultry and processed food. They had done a JV with one of the biggest company in US, that is Tyson, under which they sell a lot of poultry products or vegetarian products under the brand name of Real Good Chicken and then Yummies. Yummies is vegetarian, Real Good Chicken is the non-veg proportion of the business. The revenue split, if we look at animal feed, today is the largest division of the company. Almost 47.8% comes from animal feed. Vegetable oil is 15.6%, crop protection 11.2%, dairy 15.8%, and processed and poultry foods is 8.5%. But if we look at PBIT margins, that is profit before interest and tax, animal feeds only contribute 34.9%. Vegetable oil, whereas in revenue they contribute only 15%, in PBIT they almost contribute 33%. Why, we will understand that later. Crop protection is 23.8. Crop protection, they have acquired a company called Aztec Life Science, where they hold almost 62% stake. There is dairy, processed food, and others. Thesis. Let us first understand what is palm oil. There is something called as FFB, Fresh Fruits Bunch, that Indonesia and Malaysia produces. So 85% of global consumption of FFB is produced by only two countries, that is Indonesia and Malaysia. Godrej Agrovet acquires those FFB and process it, crush it to produce palm oil. We were heavily reliant on imports of FFB. FFB is usually a long gestation period. It almost, once you plant the tree, it starts yielding you after 3 years and keep on yielding you for 25, 30 years. Palm oil almost, if you look at the consumption globally or even in India, it's almost upward of 30%. The reason being it is the cheapest edible oil available in India. Other alternates like sunflower, rapeseed or soya bean oil are much more costlier. So the penetration of that is far away or much lesser than what it is for palm oil. 90% of palm oil consumption in India is imported with Indonesia, and I spoke about it. India has. So in 2021, there was a lot of dumping happening in India of fresh fruits bunch. What India did, they first banned the imports. But then they realized that there was a significant shortage of fresh fruits bunch in India. And that's when they allowed the imports, but with a import duty of 20% on crude palm oil and almost 32.5% on refined oil. Godrej capitalized on this. What they did was they started doing contract farming. They started giving a lot of crop protection things to farmer and motivated them to plant these palm trees. What happened? So what happens in contract farming is there is a predetermined price and a predetermined volume that a farmer has to give it to you. So there was a supply side issue for fresh fruit bunch. Godrej was trying to solve for it, helping the farmer get better yield, plant better seeds, better quality seeds where there is much better output, and thereby gaining a secured source of fresh fruit bunch. If you look at this bearing potential per hectare, 0 to 3 years, the palm trees gives you nothing. Gradually on 4th year, increasing it to 5 metric ton per hectare. And by 8th year, this is 18 metric tons per hectare. This whole exercise, though Godrej have been doing it since 2012, but post 2021, they have aggressively expanded this division. If you go and read in 2013, they were barely 15,000 hectares in contract farming. Today they are almost 75,000 and they are talking about going up to 1,20,000 hectares by 2027. If you do a simple maths at full potential, I will talk about the realization later. At full potential, if this 1,20,000 hectares end up giving you 12 metric ton per hectare yield, they can easily do a top line of 15,000 crores. That's one single division which is currently doing only 1,500 crores for Godrej Agrovet. What Godrej Agrovet has done, so they have been able to secure the fresh fruit bunch, which solves for their volatility in raw material sourcing. They are now getting into value-added products, packaging it, and all those things. This will also solve for the end realization part volatility, because then you will have a proper source, proper whole. So they are basically trying to be present in the whole value chain, From sourcing to consumer, they are trying to do that. Once you have consumer like McDonald's and all those people, Cadbury, Mondelez and all, you get a better realization and stable realization because they also get into a contract with you at a predetermined price. So this will bring a lot of margin sustainability in the business. Today, in 9 months, they have done 1136 crores of revenue. The realization is almost 1 lakh rupees per metric ton. That is almost 1,000 rupees per kg. Cyclicality in business should ease out over the long term. If we see in 18, this is the only palm oil division for them. If you see, 19% had gone down to 11% and it is gradually going back to 18%. Management is guiding that they will be able to sustain 15 to 18% margins in the longer term and not see a wide volatility of 19% to 10%. Moving on to the other business divisions, they are doing a lot of branding efforts in cattle feed, dairy and poultry processed food. Cattle feed, again, if you look at the whole business model, they are again trying to capture the whole value chain of it. They have a business division called animal feed in which they produce cattle feed. They sell this to farmer with a contract saying that you will have to give me, if you ever have looked at milk companies in India, the biggest challenge for milk companies in India is procuring milk. Consistently procuring sustainable milk is the biggest challenge in industry. This guy, rather than getting into contract manufacturing, is trying to enter the whole value chain so that he has a sustainable sourcing model at play. He sells this cattle field to the farmers and try and source the milk from them itself. So if you look at, they have already developed a lot of brands in there. Trust me, there is no other company that is, there are companies who are manufacturing animal feed, but there are no brands. It is all unorganized. Whatever be the situation of the cow, you have to just go and get the animal feed from them. This guy is trying to create segmentations in that. For pregnant cow, there is different animal feed which is high in vitamins so that the mother cow is not affected. For a calf, that is baby cow, they have a different brand altogether. So they are trying to create this market segmentation which no other animal feed, despite being organized, have been able to do that. Though the fruit bearing of this business division will come at a much later stage when this is much larger division, when there is a brand recall in the farming industry. Manufactures compound feed. So if you know the industry, there is non-compound feed and compound feed. Non-compound feed is agri-waste. You have had your food last night, bach gaya, subah wo cow ko khila do. Farmers do that. That is not the optimal way to do business. The yield, the milk that cow will give will be much lesser. But if you go to compound feed, those are specifically manufactured for this animal, the yield will be much better. So they are only and only doing compound feed. In India, 96% of cow farmers depend on non-compound feed. They feed the cow the agri waste or the food waste or whatever is available free of cost. In US, non-compound feed is 0%. In China, non-compound feed is almost 20-30%. 60% is compound feed. So this will change. If you look at comparable company in US, Archer Daniels, almost $22 billion market cap company with $85 billion revenue. And they make almost $1.8 billion of profit after tax, which is not even the market cap of Godrej Agrovet. So there is immense opportunity over here. This is the only company trying to build a brand, create different segmentations into the cattle feed. They almost do 3,630. This is only 9-month figure. They did 3,600 crores in this division. Second, dairy. like I talked about, they have done a JV with Tyson Foods. It's one of the largest company in, sorry, this is dairy. They have acquired this company called Creamline Dairy Products. And they are trying to sell their own brand, that is Godrej Jersey. Predominantly, currently only available in South India. Very, very recently. Sorry, yeah, sure. Very, very recently, they have entered into Maharashtra. You can see their product in Blinkit. I will skip because we have time restrictions. Again, in poultry and processed foods, I guess a lot of you might be knowing Yummies or Real Good. They are launching brands so that there is a brand recall at customer. Again, the same thing, they give feed to the poultry farmer and then they source the final product. Optionality, there are a lot of people who talked about CDMO doing really well. That's again an optionality. They have a company called Aztec Life Science in which they do CDMO. The thing is, with the whole tariff war playing out, I would for now assign this as a zero value business for now. Of course, it has immense value. They have phenomenal product, phenomenal company, Aztec Life Science. You can go and study. That's also a good company. Risk, decrease in duty on palm oil, that is fresh fruit bunch, that will impact their marketability. High dependence on agri-economy. If tomorrow, the way I'm thinking, if government does not dole out freebies to agriculture, and they are not able to rise above the normal GDP of India, then this whole sector will suffer along with it. Just 2 slides. How does market value such transformations? I've taken an example, Deepak Fertilizer. I don't know how many of you know, but they tried and solved for their sourcing capability. They have put ammonia plant. Earlier, all the ammonia used to be imported, which brought the sustainability in margins. At a point, they were almost making 12%, 7-8% EBITDA margin. Today, they are back to 18-19%, and they will be able to sustain that. If you look, the valuation, the blue line is a valuation chart. It always used to trade between 10-15, but now it is almost trading in 20-25. People have a positive perseverance for companies who are doing a lot of stuff to sustain their margin rather than having a volatile margin. I feel Godrej Agrovet will go through the same journey, but again, you will have to consult your financial advisor and take his views before you build a position. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Avinash. We'll just take one question in this session in the interest of time, or else basically you guys have to miss the lunch. I'm sure you don't want to do that. Yeah, first question. Keep your question also short.
Sir, in the world, Wilmer is the largest one in this palm. So how you compare with the Wilmer? Because now there is some basic changes taken place and only one promoter is there.
Wilmer is also a good company. The only concern that I have is, see, it is a drawback as well as a strength. I do not know which industry will benefit the most in agri play. So I'm trying to buy a company that has presence in all the division. Now, is that a strength? Yes, but it can also be a problem because there are too many moving variables. One variable going against you, you will end up generating losses. So I'm trying to mitigate the concentration risk by buying this. Adani Wilmer is also a good company. You can have a look. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So Avinash is going to be there with us. He's also a coach. So you can always network with him and ask a lot of questions related to Godrej Agrovet and other stocks. Sorry, in the interest of time, we have to.
For felicitation of Shri Avinash Dulani, I would like to call upon stage Shri Shankar Mao.
A big round of applause, please.